Well, next we look into a topic called wireless LAN protocols. So, as per syllabus, is a brief introduction to wireless LAN. We don't have much details to go about. So, the objective is to make you familiarize what is wireless LAN and what is wireless communication, and what are the benefits of drawbacks and advantages of wireless LAN, and also we are going to learn what are uh, the comparison also we'll see between wired LAN and wireless LAN, and the essential characteristics, and then the problems that we encounter, something called hidden terminal problem, exposed terminal problem, and then how those problems are encountered by means of a protocol, well-known protocol called MACA protocol, MACA protocol, that we will see in this particular chapter. So, recollecting from chapter 1, in chapter 1 we have defined various types of networks like local area network, personal area network, wide area network, and so on. So, remember at that point of time we said local area networks are of two types. We say wired networks and the other is wireless. So, please follow this point, that's very interesting and important as well from general understanding perspective. Wide network, I don't have to tell you, you can have some topology in the form of bus topology, in the form of ring topology, where you connect all the hosts. It can be a broadcast medium, or it can sometimes be a point to point in the form of token ring. So you connect the host can be your laptops, host can be desktop. So this is a physical wire as such, in the form of twisted pair copper wire, or maybe coaxial cable, or maybe fiber optic or something like that. Generally we don't use fiber optic, it is generally a coaxial cable or twisted pair, all right, cat5 cable, something like that. It's a wire. So you are going to either connect the machine through a multi-drop concept or point-to-point concept directly, right? So this is the wired network. So by means of physical wire, you are going to connect your host to the broadcast medium. This is the broadcast medium, the communication channel. So essentially it's a broadcast topology most often for the wired network. But in wireless what happens is, again, wireless means of course as the name implies, there is no physical wire as such. Then how are we going to organize the network? Essentially I would like to tell you that there are two types of wireless networks. There are two types of wireless networks. One is called infrastructure based. Please understand this point is not there in the textbook. I am telling from the other aspects, infrastructure and infrastructureless. Infrastructure means you need some infrastructure, you need some hardware in order to organize the LAN. Okay, you need some hardware. So what is that? I will talk about. So generally, what are the components? Like here I have, it could be a desktop, it could be a laptop. So here also I can have desktop that generally we don't use, but possibility is there. Like we can have a desktop, we can have laptop, okay, or we can have even some digital assistants, some digital components, or it could be like your smartphones. These are all can be there as part of, these are all clients, or you can say hosts. On the terminology of electronics communication, we also call them as essentially stations. So these could be the hosts, this could be the clients. Okay, but the point is all these must support some wireless adapter, Wi-Fi card, wireless or Wi-Fi card. You might have seen on Google how do wireless or Wi-Fi card look like. I have shown you, if you remember, in chapter 1, in unit 1, I have shown you how a Wi-Fi card will look like. So all these will have a wireless interface, this wireless adapter or Wi-Fi card or wireless interface. Okay, but this is not sufficient enough. In addition to that, you need an extra hardware component called access point, or this is your relay, or some people even call it as base station. Without access point, it is not possible to organize a wireless LAN. Generally, we indicate access point by in short as AP, access point. I'm sure in the college you might have seen access points which are placed across different floors of the building. In our department, CSC department, if you see at different places in front of the faculty room, in front of the lab, you might have seen access points. And through access points, if you have the credentials available, the login ID and password, you can log in into and use the college internet through Wi-Fi mode, through wireless mode, right? So access point, it will look something, I have already shown you how to access point look like in unit 1, perhaps if you see the videos, or just Google access point and then go to images, you can see how do access points look like. How do access point look like? It will be just like a box, or maybe some cylindrical fashion. It may be shown like that access point. It's a device which has got its own radio interface by means of which it will transmit and receive the radio signals. And these clients, the desktop or the laptop, through Wi-Fi interface can communicate with the access point through radio station, through radio waves, So every access point, for example, if I say access point is like this, every access point will have its own radio range. Means the range to which it can support, it can access. Means within this radio range, if your clients are present, you can be able to access the network, right? You can be able to access the network. So these are radio range, the range of the access point. So if you are present within this range, then only you will be able to get the connectivity. If you are outside this, then you won't be able to access it. So what we do is, maybe suppose in the next one I show. Suppose this is my ISP, Internet Service Provider. So ISP will provide maybe a wired or wireless link to me, and in the college I will have this router, right? So through this router, maybe I take different wires, and then maybe I may have a switch here, and through which I connect to different buildings. Okay, this is a CSC block, this is a EC block, this is admin block, and so on, library block, and so on. So in these blocks, through these wires, I can connect to different access points. So these access points in turn may be connected by means of different wires. So the connectivity will come through this. Okay, so this may be a wired connection, or it can be a wireless connection. In wireless connection also, it will be wireless router, wireless switch, and then I can have different access. These are the access points. And then you can have different clients to communicate with this access point. So such a network is called Wireless Local Area Network, WLAN, wireless LAN, right? So same network, when the connectivity is established by means of this infrastructure, which is nothing but the access points or base stations or relays, then it is called infrastructure based wireless network, infrastructure. So the Wi-Fi network that we have in the college, the Wi-Fi network that you find at public places, nowadays in airports and railway stations also you find Wi-Fi, is it not? So that is by means of these access points. So these are called the base stations. So if I'm organizing a network, if I'm making a network, configuring a network by means of access points as base stations, then that is called infrastructure based wireless networks. There is another category of wireless networks called infrastructure-less. Means, for example, I may have a laptop here, laptop 1, laptop 2, laptop 3. They don't have any, for example, each one will have this own interface, transmitter and receiver, own wireless interface. So by means of these interfaces, if this is the radio range of laptop 1, and this is the radio range of laptop 2, and this is the radio range of laptop 3 like this, then they can establish a communication paradigm or a communication network among themselves. So here we don't have no access points, no infrastructure, no base stations. The receivers and the transmitters of this laptops or digital assistants or the digital devices are strong enough to communicate, to establish a communication link between them, wireless link between them. Then such networks are called infrastructure-less wireless networks. Infrastructure-less wireless networks. An example, common example of this is called ad hoc networks, mobile ad hoc networks. Ad hoc means this is not permanent, this is temporary. I'm just giving an overview, we are not going into details of this. Mobile ad hoc network, popularly written in short called MANET. Mobile ad hoc network, Temporarily it is formed to ensure or exchange the information. or it can be a sensor networks, wireless sensor networks, generally written in short WSN, not AN, WSN. So just I want you to have general understanding that wireless networks are of two types, infrastructure based and infrastructure less. Our cellular terminal, the cellular network that we use for our smartphones, right, that is also infrastructure based, because if the base station of the service provider goes down, the communicate, we cannot make and receive the calls. Infrastructure less network is a network which is formed on temporary basis, which is either ad hoc or maybe wireless sensor networks, that does not depend on any kind of infrastructure. That is called wireless sensor network. So here in our discussion, we are going to talk about infrastructure based wireless networks. So our focus will be on this. This is an advanced topic. You have a subject called wireless sensor networks, wireless ad hoc networks in your fourth year, where you are going to talk about the issues involved in infrastructure less based wireless networks, which is either mobile ad hoc networks or wireless sensor networks. So I hope you understood the concept. So in this chapter, or in this particular topic, we are going to learn the aspects of the organization of wireless LAN, the issues involving in the design of wireless networks. So therefore, a system of laptop computers, digital assistants, right, smartphones that communicate by radio. I mean, what is the communication medium here? The radio. So generally what happens is, suppose if you imagine this is the host can be a laptop. The host can be a digital assistant. The host can be a smartphone. So this is assumed to have some wireless interface. I'm just showing diagrammatically. This is a wireless interface. Wireless interface means it will have what we call transmitter and receiver. Transmitter and receiver. So it can, with transmitter you can transmit the signals, radio signals, and with receiver you can receive the signals. So every client, every host, every station in a wireless network need to have basically a transmitter and receiver, and by means of this transmitter and receiver, you are going to communicate by means of radio waves or radio signals. So communication is always through radio signals. So every transmitter receiver will have its communication range, will have its radio range. Generally we indicate the radio range by means of a circle like this. So this indicates the radio range. This is the radio range. So every host, every client will have its own radio range, means the range of its transmitter and the range of its receiver perhaps. Okay. So by radio wave they can communicate, and it is generally a broadcast channel, means whoever are going to come within this access. Suppose this could be an access point. It has its own range. So whoever comes under this, I have one laptop here, another laptop here, another laptop here. Whoever is within the communication range of it, you can be able to access it. So a common configuration for a wireless network may be an office building or maybe a college like our college, where we place access points at different locations, and then we can ensure the connectivity for accessing various resources, including internet. But do remember that the access points are to be wired together by using coaxial cable or something, as I told earlier. If the transmission range of access points and laptops are adjusted properly, then this whole thing will become like a cell. If the range of the access points and the other clients are adjusted, laptops or other clients are adjusted, then it will become like a cell. This whole thing will be like a cell, and the entire building becomes a cellular network or cellular telephony, where each cell has one channel and all stations in the cell share this channel, including access point. Okay. Now before I proceed to other aspects, I have a presentation. Let us go through the presentation to understand more some of the important aspects with regard to what we say the wireless systems. So just have a look at this. Let's go through the points. The present days, more and more networks are operating without cables. This is the norm of the today's world. We are basically designing networks in wireless mode. Wireless LANs use high frequency. Look at this. The possibility of communication. What are the medium possibilities of media? I will show you with ink. Okay. What are the possibilities of media? Maybe radio signals or infrared beams or lasers. to speak between the workstations and servers and other resources. It is wireless LAN, WLAN, popularly written as WLAN, formed by connecting different devices through wireless communication to form a local area network. And every network generally will have its own specifications which are specified in IEEE standard. If you remember, earlier occasion I have explained to you that for wired networks, IEEE 802.1 is the standard for physical layer. 802.2 is for MAC layer, is for data link layer. 802.3 is for CSMACD Ethernet. I told this point. 802.4 is basically for what we say token bus, and like that 802.5 is for token ring. So like that, for wireless LAN, the Wi-Fi, the IEEE standard is 802.111 is a Wi-Fi protocol for Wi-Fi network, Wi-Fi wireless fidelity wireless network. So very popular. Like that, WiMAX has IEEE standard 802.16, right? So like that. So IEEE standard generally that we follow popularly, which is followed for many wireless LANs which are commercially deployed in the and in educational institutions, is IEEE 802.11. So that is the point. Next, some of the important points of wireless networks I will just go through. You can also pay attention. Is a local area network that I have already told you that uses radio communication to provide mobility to the network users while maintaining the connectivity to the wired network. It means access points are connected through wired network. I already told you. So it basically extends the wired local area network. Like in same thing in our college, we have wired network, and then the extension is made through access points to provide connectivity to mobile users. Are built attaching a device called access point, which I told just now, to the edge of the wired network. Clients communicate with the access point using a wireless network adapter. I told you this wireless interface, which is similar in function to an Ethernet card, and it is also called LAN, that is local area wireless network. Now the performance of wireless LAN is high. I mean the flexibility, the mobility, because of mobility aspect, we say it is high compared to other wireless networks. The coverage of wireless LAN is within a campus generally, or a building, or other technology parks. I told these are the several standards. These are different types of wireless LAN. Hyper LAN, Wi-Fi, 802.11 is standard. It offers services to the desktop, laptop, mobile applications, and all the devices that works on the internet. So therefore, it is a very easy and effective way of implementation and can be set up easily. So the main advantage of wireless LAN is it gives the users the ability to move around within a local coverage area and still be connected to the network. Most latest brands are based on, that's what I said, most of the networks are based on this particular standard, which is popularly used across. So this is brief some of the points. Now see some of the characteristics, advantages and drawbacks of wireless LANs. It provides seamless operation, means continuous operation without any disruption. Low power for battery use. Simple management, easy to use for everybody, that we know it. Protection of investment in wired networks, right? And then robust transmission technology. Advantages: installation is very simple, flexible, reduced cost, and then reliability is also good. Mobility is very high, robustness just now I told you. But the drawbacks of wireless LAN is it has lower bandwidth in comparison to wired networks. So drawbacks are many: slower bandwidth, lesser bandwidth. Security for wireless LANs is a very important concern. Wired networks is more secure than in comparison to wireless because of open channel or open broadcast medium, right? Vulnerable for security threats. Wireless networks cost 4 times more than the wired network cards. Networks cost. And wireless net devices emit low levels of radio frequency, which can be harmful. Some people say, even many a time we see in many viral messages saying that you have to keep your cell phone not close to your heart or chest or something like that. So may have some security threats. So these are some of the relative merits and demerits. Now, if you see the comparison between wired LAN and the wireless LAN, this is your traditional LAN, this is your wireless LAN, right? So see that the parameter. So stands for local area network, stands for wireless local area network, connection type, wired as well as wireless. And then here we may have complete wireless technology based. Coverage is just like a building. So here also it may be same thing. The cost, as I said, less expensive. This may have more expensive. Complexity may be relatively cheaper, but complex to install here, make physical connections between the wires and the switches and bridges. And here it is relatively less complex to start to set up. Provides good performance, and impact of weather is limited here in LAN. But here the impact of weather is very high because of broadcast medium. LAN has limited mobility, very less mobility, almost no mobility, but here it is highly mobile in nature. Interruption, right? LAN connections cannot be interrupted, but here, as we see, while we even communicate with our cellular phones, we find a lot of disruptions, we find a lot of interruptions. So that is the thing. Examples of host here: desktop, laptop connected to LAN, desktop, laptop connected on a Wi-Fi or hotspot based networks using access point. So this is a very simple and interesting table demarcating or showing the differences between LAN and WAN. Okay. Now, the protocol generally that we use, for wide networks, CSMA/CD, carrier sense multiple access with collision detection. The same protocol cannot be used here in wireless networks, because even though you can have carrier sensing, but collision detection cannot be done in wireless networks. So here I wanted to highlight upon that point. Collision detection. Collisions are not detectable in wireless networks. Why? Because the return signal, wireless network, the return signal becomes very, very faint or feeble for the transmitter to detect whether it has been successfully received or not. So I cannot use the CSMA/CD protocol for dealing with transmission in wireless mode. Okay. So that is the thing. So, but in wireless networks, because of the limited range of the stations, that means access point, or maybe the laptop, or maybe any station, because of the limited range of the wireless stations or the host, we can have some new problems being encountered. One is called hidden terminal problem or hidden station problem, and the other is called the exposed terminal problem or exposed node problem. So what is this hidden terminal and what is this exposed node problem? Let us understand that in the next presentation or the next video. Okay.